Hey, true crime fanatics, this is Claire.
And I'm Andy.
You're tuned in to the Homicide Hobbies podcast, which is a podcast for people who love to hear about the horrendous crimes that people commit. Enjoy. Well, where in the world are we today?
Today we'll be in a place that has the nation's only working tea plantation.
Tea?
Tea.
Like T-ball or the brewing?
I would assume of brewing variety.
Black or English?
Pick a place, lady.
Massachusetts.
It's the first European settlement in North America in 1526.
Virginia.
Their official dance is the shag. It's a smooth, sultry dance with roots in rhythm and blues music in the 1950s. Today, we'll be in South Carolina.
Oh, I was going to guess West Virginia, but the year of establishment threw me off because the shag seems like, no offense. But I get it. Whatever. I guess the Carolinas are sister cousins.
Ew. Are the Dakotas too?
Sure.
Okay. Imagine this. You're released from prison after 8 years.
Nope.
Most people would try to, rebuild quietly, maybe get a job, stay out of some trouble.
Or start that initially.
Well, the feller I'm going to tell you about, he looked at freedom and thought, you know what? I think it's time for some murder, necrophilia, and a cameo on America's Most Wanted.
All right. What was he in jail for that he got released?
I'm not going to tell you that yet, but we're going to dive into the story of Steven Stanko.
Well, that's an unfortunate name.
It is such an unfortunate
Did
name.
he get that after he was in prison? Like, he just refused to go into the shower section? So, like, you remember that one case I told you about where they nicknamed the shower area the car wash, but that's where prisoners got raped?
I tried to block that out.
He was not Steven Stanko when he went in, but he was when he came out.
It's disgusting.
No, it's Stanko.
He is dubbed by the media as the killer librarian.
I don't know which name is worse.
Well, he is a man who hid behind charm. He co-authored a book about life in prison.
Was he a librarian?
He ran a prison book club.
What?
And he turned his own existence into a blood-soaked horror story.
Horror?
Sure.
All right. Well, was that in prison or after?
Yes.
So I was right.
No. Anyway, this is another intense one, not for the faint of heart. If you're going to be a whiny crybaby, turn it off.
Okay, which cases have I been a whiny crybaby on?
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking about the people.
I guess that would make sense, because if I turned it off, it wouldn't make so much sense.
No, you're stuck. You're stuck for the duration of this.
I don't have a choice. The rest of you people do. Andrew finds some weird shit, so this is your warning.
Hey, this one's not too weird.
Well, then why'd you give such a...
Not for the faint of heart.
All right.
No, I got a doozy of a case that I'm waiting to tell you. But anyway, this one is just your run-of-the-mill piece of shit. Stephen Christopher Stanko was born January 13th, 1968 at Guantanamo Bay Naval Base.
All right.
And yes, that's the same place the U.S. likes to store terrorists. Coincidence? We shall see. His father served in the military. Growing up in a military household meant frequent moves, strict rules, and the instability of the constant moving.
I kind of feel like that's bullshit to throw on military families, because nobody else grows up to be pieces of shit just because you move around.
For sure. But he claims that it made him a real sad feller.
Whatever. I think he was sad beforehand. This is just what he uses to cripple him in his own mind.
Well, to add to that, he said that his father was real strict and that while there's no reports of extreme abuse...
What, did he not let you fuck all the corpses cats in the neighborhood? It's a real shitty house rule, I guess.
Well...
It's really holding him back.
His dad apparently had a very rigid household and very strict. Didn't let him get away with nothing.
It sounds like he needed that.
Sounds like he needed a good ass whooping.
Well, what were the rules that were so horrific that...
I don't know. There's no record of it. It's just his dad was real strict. That's his complaint. His daddy was real strict. He had to shower every day.
and brush his teeth and do his homework and be at home on time. And he wasn't allowed to gallivant, and his room had to be tidy.
And make his bed. I do remember that was one that used to drive me nuts about Dad, was like the bed being made.
Well, it's good practice.
It is good practice, but that used to drive me nuts because if all I did was yank the blankets up and it wasn't like made, he'd make me redo it.
First off, just yanking the covers up isn't making a bed, so I stand by it.
It was for a child.
Andrea.
Shut up. You should see the way my husband makes the bed. So, as a teenager, Steven reportedly suffered from one head injury.
How many did he enjoy?
The rest of them, I guess, but the one, he really didn't like it.
It was a real suffering.
Sure was. He received a blow to the back of the head while shielding a classmate from an assault, which I thought was pretty nice. So I don't know at what point he decides to become a real piece of shit, because he went from being like save the day kind of feller to a piece of shit. He was known to be a handsome little feller who was well, he's not so little. He's over 6 feet tall, and he's articulate, charming, and smart. He was the kind of guy that teachers loved and his friends trusted. But behind the polished exterior was lurking a predator. He was spit shined by his father.
Oh, and in prison.
Steven was denied admission into the U.S. Air Force Academy in 1986.
Because of his head injury?
I don't know. The rejection hit him hard, fueling a sense of frustration.
Just like his head injury.
Yeah. Later, he attended community college but struggled academically. That struggle also appears to have been a significant psychological blow to his ego, gave him feelings of inadequacy and frustration, and this period marked the beginning of his criminal activities. Because I guess he decided at that point, that was really the turning point. He can't get in the military or the Air Force, and he's sucking at college. So he's like, you know what? Heck with this. I'm just going to be a criminal.
I guess.
Before he escalated to murder, his criminal record was long and growing. On his criminal resume, he had grand larceny, car theft, fraud, and assault.
What about the pepper? How old is he at this point? Like, obviously he's an adult, I guess, because he couldn't get into the military.
He's in his early 20s.
Okay.
But Steven had him a little girlfriend, and her name was Liz McLennan Bucker. He dated her for less than a year in the early 1990s. But during this relationship, Liz confided in a friend that she was, kind of reconsidering being in a relationship with Steven.
Why is she confiding in a friend?
It turns out she wasn't sure if she was a high maintenance lady or not, because one night when she was trying to sleep, she told her friend she woke up and Steven had a pillow over her face and he was trying to suffocate her.
Oh.
She didn't think she liked that.
So she had to ask a friend? Like, do you like to wake up with a pillow over your face? Was she snoring?
No, she had to let that friend know that she might need to break up with him.
Maybe? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there's a few times that I've held a pillow over Dave's head.
What?
But if he looks, I just pet the pillow over to him like, it's alright. But he does it back, so it's funny.
You guys have been sick a real long time. I'm glad you found each other.
But I mean, he's not sleeping when I do that.
That he knows of.
Like, it's just funny because if I go to take the pillow and he turns and looks, you just set it down and it's like a da-da-da. Nothing's happening over here.
Liz decided she needed to confront him about this incident, as well as some of the other lies she was starting to see through.
What other lies?
She's just starting to notice that he likes to lie about pretty much everything.
Like what? He took the trash out, but he didn't? He didn't use all the toilet paper, but he did?
Listen, I think attempted murder outweighs any fibs he might be telling.
You don't know.
I know for me, attempted murder outweighs all the other bullshit. But anyway, during this confrontation...
It didn't for her because she was still considering whether to break up with him.
Well, when she confronts him about it, see if he's got a good reason for holding that pillow over her face, which I don't know how she didn't confront him that night.
They just rolled over and went to sleep.
She was already asleep. She woke up to being smothered.
Yeah, but apparently it couldn't have bothered her too much.
Well, during this argument or confrontation, This psycho was enraged because Liz had the nerve to confront him. How dare she?
It couldn't have scared her too much, though, because I wouldn't have slept in the same bed. I wouldn't have slept in the same house if I thought he was legitimately trying to kill me, which is why I was curious if maybe she has like some sort of snoring issue. Not that you should murder somebody for being a snorer. I'm not saying.
Yeah, I was just darty eyed. Like, so if they're snoring, they have.
Hey, so the next time you visit, just make sure that you got whatever sleep mask you need to quiet you.
I don't snore, but Jason, he sounds like a chainsaw.
Tell him to watch his back.
As the couple argued, Liz tells him, "You know what? I'm done. We just need to end this. You need to pack your shit and go. Go on now, get." And the next morning, which again, I don't understand how this trickles into yet another day, but the next morning, they pick up where they left off with their bickering. And that's when Psycho Steven decided to tie Liz up, and he bound her wrists and ankles before he went and grabbed a rag, soaked it with bleach.
What?
Yeah, before covering her face with it.
That's not chloroform just because it starts with a C. He didn't know how to read either.
It starts with a B. He used bleach.
Well, not Clorox.
Anyway, so he holds it over her face while muttering, "This works in the movies." And when he realized that this is actually reality, and in the movies, they're acting, he gave up and left.
Do you mean they weren't documentaries?
Sure weren't. And they agreed they were done. They weren't going to see each other anymore.
She didn't see much of him through the pillow.
He sure does know how to show them ladies a good time. Romance with a dash of attempted murder.
Andrew, that was stupid.
She managed to escape. She called for help. And from everything that I read, because his past is, he's such a piece of garbage, but it looks like all he was ordered to do was undergo a psychiatric evaluation. And I think it was because it's one of those, she's claiming he smothered her with a pillow, but she didn't do anything about it until several days later. And then she's claiming that she got tied up in the bleach, which I guess if there's no proof of anything, it becomes a he said, she said. So they were like, you need to go be evaluated, feller. But I don't know. I personally would have been done with that relationship after the first attempted murder.
After the first smothering?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
But glad she escaped. A few years later, in 1996, Stephen began dating a woman named Laura Horton. We're going to call her Lori. During their relationship, which only lasted a few months, Stephen at this point is 28 years old, and he was involved in an incident with Lori. This incident involved him kidnapping her at gunpoint during a volatile argument. The only reason Lori probably survived her kidnapping was because she managed to call 911 during the terrifying incident, and police arrived and de-escalated the situation. Stephen was then given pretty silver bracelets that was a part of a matching set, and unlike her predecessor, Lori Horton pursued criminal charges against Stephen. And since he was kind of caught in the act,
Yeah,
it was pretty easy to do. At that point, Stephen received him a nice 8-year prison vacay following that romantic gesture to Lori.
An all-inclusive resort.
Sure was. And while in prison, he reinvented himself.
To Stanko?
No, that came naturally.
You just don't have to add the suds.
He read constantly. He became very articulate. He even co-authored that book I told you about.
He learned to read? You think he realized that bleach was not chloroform?
Probably. But he co-authored that book I told you about in the beginning with criminology professors. And the book is Living in Prison, A History of the Correctional System with an Insider's View.
I couldn't think of a book I'd want to read less.
Right? By the time he was released in 2004, people saw a charming intellectual. They didn't see him for who he truly was, which was a manipulative predator who'd spent years planning his next moves. At this point, Stephen's living in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He's living there for nearly a year before moving into a friend's home to help keep an eye on the friend's elderly mother. He struggled to find stable employment due to his criminal background, so Stephen decided he would go ahead and try to write a second book.
No. Life on the Outside is the sequel to Life on the Inside.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what I was expecting. Stephen was 6'3" tall, dark hair, dark eyes.
It's a pretty big feller.
Yeah, he's considered a striking young man now in his mid-30s. He would brag about being rich. He'd buy drinks for everyone in a bar. He'd hand out his phone number to women left and right.
So he's creating a lot of litter.
I guess. Steven's various lies included that he was a millionaire, he owned multiple hamburger
I
restaurants.
feel like once you catch a whiff of the feller, you'd know.
Well, he learned to bathe while in prison. I'm guessing they forced the issue. He actually bathed. Claire's the one saying he didn't because of his name. Anyway, he claimed he owned multiple hamburger restaurants. He claimed he had an engineering degree from a prestigious university. He also claimed he made big deals in oil and also in real estate, none of which are true.
Hmm.
While doing research for his second book, he got him a library card. While frequenting the local library, he became friends with a fellow library patron, a friendly 74-year-old man named Henry Turner. He also became friends with the local librarian, 43-year-old Laura Ling. He presented himself as intelligent, charming, and rehabilitated. He even cited his co-authored prison book as proof of his success. Laura knew a version of Steven's past.
Just that it was in the clink.
Well, I'm guessing he probably put some sort of spin on it,
She overreacted.
or she lied, or whatever.
She said she was into it and then changed her mind.
And somehow called the police.
The neighbors did because of the screaming.
Right.
And then I put it in the wrong orifice and she got real mad.
Oh. All right. But Laura believed that Stephen was all better now. He's all rehabilitated. And soon, Laura became Stephen's girlfriend. They had been dating for about 6 months, so not a lifetime romance, but long enough for her to trust him. She let him into her home and even introduced him to her 15-year-old daughter. Laura was a woman who friends described as warm, witty, and steady. Within months, Stephen was actually moving in with Laura and her teenage daughter.
She really liked him.
She did. She was fooled by his charm.
For being a successful man owning on the hamburger joints and real estate, it's real weird you don't have a house of your own.
Sure is. What Laura didn't know is she was now living with a ticking time bomb that would go off in the most brutal way imaginable. As their relationship continued, Laura confided in her closest friends that Stephen, who's 36, was becoming increasingly more controlling and jealous. She would also tell her friends Stephen was overbearing and sometimes frightening, and she was thinking of ending their relationship.
Uh-oh. Does he end up catching wind of that?
I think so. I think that's what starts all of the things. But on April 8th, 2005, in the middle of the night, Stephen crept through the darkened halls into the bedroom of Laura's daughter. There, Stephen stood over the sleeping 15-year-old, holding a knife in his hand. He watched her sleep peacefully before pouncing onto her. Stephen proceeded to beat and rape the young teen for several hours. Miraculously, she managed to flee from the bedroom in search of her mom. As if she hadn't been traumatized enough, this poor girl found her mother on the floor in another room. Stephen had bound and beaten Laura and then left her lying on the floor while he was raping her sleeping daughter. Before Laura's daughter could even process what she was seeing or how to even help her mother, Stephen cracked her over the back of the head and the 15-year-old was knocked unconscious. When she came to, Stephen was raping her again. Then, with one knee pinning the 15-year-old down, Stephen strangled Laura Ling to death inside her own home in front of her terrified daughter. There's also reports that he said things taunting the girl of "watch your mommy die now,
Oh.
watch mommy die." And after beating and repeatedly raping Laura's daughter, Stephen then took that knife and sliced the girl's throat twice.
Does she die?
Hold on. Stephen didn't just leave Laura's house or her body. He engaged in disturbing post-mortem manipulation, behavior forensic psychologists would later describe as necrophilic, but not in a sexual sense. I was like, but they say it was an obsessive drive to control her even in death. The forensic experts reported that Stephen engaged in postmortem sexual acts as a chilling behavior that combined control, fantasy, and ritual, and that he didn't act impulsively. He treated the murder almost like a rehearsal, ensuring the scene conformed to his twisted vision. I was like, what?
Yeah.
He's a dirty ass pervert. There's also reports that indicate that Stephen took pictures of different aspects of Laura's body in an attempt to relive and preserve the act, basically to add to his spank bank.
That's disgusting. What year is this? You said the 2000s?
2005.
The fuck?
After Stephen showered and left Laura's house, Laura's daughter was still alive and bleeding profusely. She managed to call 911, When police and paramedics rushed to aid the brutalized teen and to process the crime scene, Steven was now on the run. But his terror was not finished yet. He drove 25 miles to the home of 74-year-old Henry Turner, the friend from the library.
Mm-hmm.
Steven was welcomed into Henry's home, where Steven then shot Henry through a pillow to muffle the sound and then fired a second round into Henry's chest.
Oh.
Steven took whatever money he could find and took off with Henry's truck. Henry Turner wasn't just some random library friend. He was a retired Air Force Master Sergeant, a father of 3, a teacher, a businessman, and in his area, Henry had a reputation for helping people get back on their feet. He wasn't just acquainted with Steven, he actually considered him to be a friend. Henry would try to help Steven by offering him odd jobs and introducing him to his social circle. In other words, this was a man who extended kindness, and Steven repaid him by invading his home, murdering him, and robbing him. It was the ultimate betrayal of trust, and it showed exactly what kind of perpetrator Steven really was. So, in less than 24 hours, Steven Stanko has strangled and violated Laura Lang, assaulted her teenage daughter, sliced the teenager's throat and left her for dead, shot and killed an elderly friend. And let's not forget, this is a fella that was considered to be rehabilitated and once ran a prison book club.
I don't feel like running the book club is like a whole lot of like, oh, he's a real good feller. He can read a book.
I think they looked at it as he was rehabilitated because he was trying to help guide other inmates to something more productive that bettered them.
Fine.
They sure were fooled. And on his resume at this point, under skills, he can include manipulation, casual necrophilia.
Okay, what is casual necrophilia versus formal necrophilia?
You know what? I'll let you look that one
Sure
up.
not.
Control, pedophilia, murder, attempted murder, rapist, and works well under pressure.
Did you really throw in works well under pressure?
So people found his serial killer scrapbook. It was filled with news clippings and notes on other criminals. He had detailed research about killers he admired, what he would have done differently. This wasn't just a casual reading, but it was a blueprint of the horrors he dreamed of committing. I mean, this is what he wanted to do. The murders of Laura Lang and Henry Turner and the attempted murder of Laura's daughter instantly made headlines. And since he was suspected to have fled the state, police called in the FBI for some help. The FBI put him on the 10 most wanted list and offered a $10,000 reward for any information on Steven, and they also plastered Steven's face everywhere. The media at that point had nicknamed Steven the killer librarian.
Which should be offensive to the librarians.
It sure should, but I think because he wrote a book, he ran the book club, and he killed a librarian.
That's real weak.
Whoever came up with that has issues. But where did Steven go?
Did they check his parents' house?
So, where did Steven Stanko go? Well, why, none other than 200 miles south to Augusta, Georgia, to hide at a friend's house.
Who?
But he really didn't hide. In a classic narcissist move, he believed his charm would protect him, so he wasted no time. While in Georgia, he went around introducing himself to the ladies as Steven Christopher. He was, doing his thing, being a liar. He told people how wealthy he was. Steven also had already wooed a new woman, moved in with her, and had even gone to church with her on the Sunday before he was eventually captured.
Oh my God, how much of a smooth talker was he?
Right?
I need to see a picture.
You want to see a picture? I'll send you a picture. But
I do, because I don't understand how he's moving in so quickly.
I don't even think he's that good looking. Like, he's not bad looking.
Okay, I can see it now. I could see where if he's a charmer, he's got more of a he's got like boyish.
Yeah, because you figure he's 36 in that picture.
Yeah, but he still looks like he's got the chubby cheeks.
Yeah,
he looks baby-faced. He doesn't look in his 30s.
Right.
And if this is a mugshot, he's even got a little bit of a smile.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he didn't age well.
He sure didn't. Prison did not help him.
He went from baby face to prison was hard on him.
And his hairline.
I see what you did there. He was in his 50s there?
Yeah.
He really didn't age well.
He sure didn't. But by the time he moved in with that lady, dude, he was only on the run for 4 days and he'd already moved in with some chick. All I can say is he's a smooth talking son of a gun who must lay the pipe real good.
All right. Now I know what Andrea's application requirements are.
No, not mine. I didn't let some dude move in with me after 4 days. And I kind of questioned, did he move in with her or did he do he's new to the area, he's staying in a hotel, but the hotel said he had to go and she's like, "Oh, you can come stay with me."
What hotel says you need to go? If you've got the money, they let you stay. That's how that works.
I think he just lied. I'm not look, I'm sorry. I appreciate you pointing out that I'm not good at coming up with the fake stories here. He was able to come up with some sort of story that let him move in with some lady after 4 days of knowing her. Or actually, not even 4 days of knowing her. He was only on the run for 4 days, which means he knew her for even less.
Isn't his friend in that area?
Should have been.
Maybe she didn't know him until, like, the friend introduced him.
Maybe, but that's not a real good friend.
Well, he doesn't know that he's, like, he might not know what he's up to.
It's 2005.
So, it's in a different area. He might not be privy to what's going on, or he believes his friend because the other version's weird.
So, unfortunately for Steven, once the FBI was offering a reward for information leading to his arrest, tips came rolling in. And on April 12th, 2005, again, just 4 days after the first murder, he was arrested. No chase, no shootout, just a man who thought he was untouchable, cuffed and taken into custody.
But he was real disappointed.
He said orange doesn't look good on ham. Some, but not all of Steven's charges were 2 counts of murder, 3 counts of kidnapping, first-degree criminal sexual conduct, assault and battery with the intent to kill, assault, and 3 counts of robbery.
Do you think that lady's reconsidering her life choices?
No, I sure don't. I think she tells her story like she's partly famous.
All right.
Steven was charged separately for Laura Ling's murder and Henry Turner's murder. Like we've talked about before, if something goes wrong in one trial, they've got the other one just to keep his ass behind bars. So that's what they did. And during his 2006 trial for Laura's murder, Steven's lawyers leaned into insanity, claiming Steven had brain defects, childhood head trauma, frontal lobe impairment, and they even had experts diagnose Steven with brain damage, likely from numerous brain injuries, including a troubled birth.
Oh.
He ticked every box they could find. Psychologists described him as a textbook psychopath where he was manipulative and had no empathy. The prosecution countered, being a psychopath doesn't make you insane. It proves you know exactly what you're doing and you choose to do it anyway.
It was calculated.
Right. And thankfully, the jury wasn't fooled. Steven Stanko was found guilty on all charges. On August 18th, 2006, Steven Stanko was sentenced to death for the murder of Laura Lang and 110 years in prison for the criminal sexual conduct against her daughter.
Should have been longer.
Steven received a second death penalty for the murder of Henry Turner in November of 2009. So they're going to put him to death times 2 and then make him sit there 110 years. Or I guess they were going to let him sit for 110 years and then put him to death twice. Either way, he's not getting out.
We're going to put you down and then bring you back and then put you down again. But after you're 150 something.
Yeah, 110 years goes by. I'm glad to say that appeals failed all the way across the board. The courts agreed his crimes were calculated, remorseless, and predatory. Steven spent nearly 20 years on death row, still giving interviews, still trying to control the narrative of his life.
Who wants to interview him?
I don't know. Then on June 13th, 2025, at Broad River Correctional Institution in Columbia, South Carolina, 57-year-old Steven Stanko was scheduled to be executed by lethal injection, marking South Carolina's 6th execution in 9 months.
Kind of like Texas.
Mm-hmm. His final meal was a stinky one. It included fried fish, fried shrimp, crab cakes, baked potato, carrots, fried okra, cherry pie, banana pudding, and sweet tea.
Do they have all day to consume this?
I don't know. I think it's given to them the night before.
Ew.
So they can digest it.
Oh.
I don't know.
Like, so that way you can snack all through the night.
I don't feel like they're allowed to keep their trays all night, but who knows? In his final monologue, which lasted 3.5 minutes, he apologized to the victims' families and asked not to be judged solely for the worst day of his life.
It wasn't one day.
It doesn't matter anyway. Like, don't do stupid shit. Don't be a violent piece of shit.
Shut.
I was going to say trash.
Was it like a Sean Connery? Don't be a piece of shit.
I was going to say trash and garbage. And then I was like, you know what? He deserves to be called a bad word. And then it became,
Oh, shart. Shart. Don't be a piece of shit.
he was Stanko to the end. Witnesses reported after receiving the lethal injection, Steven appeared to be speaking. He turned towards the victims' families and then let out several quick breaths.
Oh, shit. I didn't think you were serious with he'd be put to death twice.
He let out several quick breaths and his lips quivered. He was
I don't care. His lips quivered.
He was pronounced dead at 6:34 p.m., approximately 28 minutes after the procedure began. Now, the extended duration of his death did draw attention, although the state officials did not classify it as a botched execution.
What would we call it?
He still died. It just took a while. And Steven was given the choice of how he wanted to be put down, which I thought was interesting.
No, they get a pick.
He had specifically chosen lethal injection. He was debating between the lethal injection and the firing squad, but he chose lethal injection, citing concerns about the accuracy of the shots because there was a prior controversial execution. I did read on that one, and the feller was shot and moaned after he was shot because none of the shots hit the guy's heart, so it took a while.
What the hell's going on in the Carolinas?
They need better aim.
They need to do the practice, and you'd think if they did 6 deaths in 9 months or something,
yeah,
they would have the practice. So next firing squad one, maybe move closer.
Or practice more. They need to play duck hunt. Pew, pew, pew.
I say move closer. You don't need to be far away. And put your glasses on. This is the time when we need them.
Okay, so I ran my case through AI just to see if it found any inaccurate information, and it added this as my closing. Even in death, he tried to craft a legacy. But the reality was clear. He wasn't a philosopher or some misunderstood genius. He was calculated, manipulative, and predatory. He was a murderer with a library card.
All right.
And then it added, if you enjoyed this descent into the intense with a dash of dark humor, stay tuned next week. We'll bring you another case that'll make you lock your doors twice. Sorry, I just mentally heard you go. Was that unlock your door?
Yes, like you lock your doors twice. It's seems like you opened them.
Yeah. That is Steven Stanko, and I'm glad the daughter survived. I hope she was able to get whatever
help.
Yeah, because I feel like that is a trauma. That's trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma.
You think?
Being raped by your mom's boyfriend, trauma. Being witness to your mom being murdered, trauma.
You know what? It just doesn't hit the same without your singing.
And then having your throat sliced twice and left for dead.
Go ahead.
Trauma. So, I don't know. I hope she's doing well. But that's Steven Stanko.
But I'm glad he's dead. I don't care that they had to practice.
He's a stanky liar.
Well, I feel like it's not abnormal for the fellers to lie. But, well, Dave said in his youth he would, when him and his buddy would go out, that they would pretend that they were airborne soldiers to get the ladies.
Oh.
Before he was airborne. But
Dave, you didn't just rely on your good looks and charm. You had to be a big fat liar.
I'm just saying, I don't think it's abnormal for people to inflate themselves. I mean, I feel like he probably didn't smother anybody that I know of. It does take.
Lately you've had trouble sleeping.
I didn't say I had trouble breathing.
You don't know. It could be the lack of oxygen that wakes you up.
You don't pretend to smother Jason with a pillow?
No, I just think about it.
You should just wait till he's eating his snack and then have the pillow over your head. The cartoons we used to watch where it'd be when the person turns and looks like.
No, you know what he did last night? Okay, for those that don't know, my husband likes to eat a bag of goldfish while we watch a show at night. And I think goldfish tastes yummy. However, if you're not the one eating them, they stink.
Well, isn't he eating the Old Bay ones?
No, well, he was, but now he eats the regular extra cheddar ones and adds Old Bay to them because, he needs to have high cholesterol and high sodium. But he likes to dangle the bag and shake it like a bag of treats for a dog in front of my face because he knows I think it's gross that he eats in our bed. So I snatch the bag away and I'll chuck it across the room, and he finds it hilarious. He's been sick a real long time. But last night he tried to be real fast about it, but my cat-like reflexes, I still snatched the bag. He was laughing to the point of tears, and he's like, "Man, you sure are getting fast at that."
You both have problems.
Says
That's
the lady
all.
that practices smothering her husband.
It's just practice.
So I feel like me snatching a bag of goldfish, you guys smother each other with pillows.
Do you play fetch with him with them?
You play your dead man drills.
That's for emergencies. And just so we're clear, I have talked to people who also do the same thing. It's for practice.
You know how we've talked about, we don't understand how so many people can be gathered together and be into the same weird shit.
No, I don't. I do not.
You're one step away from slicing off a titty.
I would think several steps, miles even.
Oh, Lord, we derailed this case. Hardcore.
For sure. But you know what? There were no sirens or trains involved.
That's true.
But I'm going to go because I'm real hungry.
I'm going to go run.
Run, Forrest! Thank you for listening to Homicide Hobbies. I'm Claire.
I'm Andy.
Follow us each week to get your fix of the atrocities that occur in true crime. And don't forget to tell people about us and rate us if you like us. But don't rate us if you didn't. Just change the channel.